show.
Top Lobster Productions.
We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Oh yeah, dude. There's some Nephilim.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern-day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, and won't awaken to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in their...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nephilim Desk Squad. I am David Lee Corbo, a.k.a. The Raven. That is Top Lobsta, the father of disinformation. Before we get into today's guest, a little reminder. At sometime around the 30-minute mark, we're going to go live exclusively to patreon.com/Nephilim Desk Squad. You can continue enjoying this episode instead of whining like a poor person. Just sign up for whatever tier you'd like. You'll gain access to all sorts of perks. The rest of this episode, for one. The live chat, for two. Early access to episodes before they're released to the general public. And when we release Bohemian 4 Grove 4 tickets, you guys are going to get first dibs because we love you. And that's why we would do that for you. Also, toplobster.com. See, this is, bring it up, dude.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Hold on.
Okay, you're just going to show the backdrop. That's cool,
job.
too.
We have a guest there looking at us like, are you guys going to do anything?
Toplobster.com is where you want to go because look at all of the coolest you've ever seen. It's right there on toplobster.com. Top Lobster's Dog Man, Acidic Jew, my personal favorite. It's all in the egg is another one of my favorites because it's me, the moon map. If you're tired of Steven and his and you don't want to take it anymore, well, you could just go to toplobster.com and pick up a moon map shirt for yourself.
All right, David, let's actually get into the guest. Thank you.
Joining us today is Andrew of 6G Agenda. Andrew, for the audience who may not be familiar with your work, where can they find 6G Agenda? Where can they find you, Andrew? And what do you do, Andrew?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, super excited to be on. I'm just kind of new to the game, podcast. Heavy researcher though, and do all kinds of esoteric knowledge, all that fun for, I don't know, years now, really my whole life. But yeah, just finally pulled the trigger on just trying to bring my studies to the table. Big fan of you guys. And you can find me on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, pretty much everywhere that you listen to your chat.
Very nice, very nice. You know, before the show, Andrew, we were talking, what are we gonna discuss today? And you proceeded to drop a lot of words on us that we didn't know the meaning to. And I said, well, that's good. Let's put a pin in it right there and let's pick it up.
Can you please?
Pick it up on the show. And we were talking a little bit about 09A and things of that nature, but then you started talking about castles and things, and I'm a big fan of those. Let's rewind the conversation. Let's go back to what we were talking about before the show started. What were you getting at?
Yeah, so we had a series that we kind of just got out of, the Diddy and Epstein kind of launched me into just studying this elite global satanic ring that seems to be everywhere. Intelligence agency backed cults that go on, all kinds of shit. And so, a lot of people have done pretty good research on the Dutroux case, but, I found a lot of parallels with the Chateau d'Amoureux as I was studying with like human situations. They were doing a lot of like, obviously the worst of the worst kinds of things, but it was pay to play scenarios that I was kind of getting into with that aspect of it. And I think Dutroux, what his purpose was, from what I kind of figured out, was that him amongst a couple other people, they pretty much procured these children for these special ceremonies and rituals that would go on at these castles with these elite bloodlines. And the Chateau d'Amoureux, the current British royalty right now, they used to own this castle. And then now the Salve family owns it, which is in charge of fluoridating our water. And they just kind of, they just don't poo-poo or laugh at or discredit any of these lores that go around it. So they just kind of just stay really hidden. There's tripwires, cameras. You can't get on the place. There's no pictures of it. It's pretty crazy.
What are we suggesting is happening at these locations?
So these locations, there's a lot of castles that are in Belgium. Mainly, this is in Belgium where the Detroit case happened. They tried to just like they always do with Epstein and others. They isolated to the one, perp, and just say it was just him and he's sick individual that was doing it on his own. When in reality, generally they're tied to elite businessmen, other, they're making money without any, paper trail on how they're getting the money. Whenever he served his 3 out of 13-year sentence, he was getting paid for, I think it was like $3,000 a month and he was paying off 7 properties he owned. This guy was I think he was a plumber that was unemployed. So it just doesn't add up. So then, whenever you dig into his connections and then you look at the X dossier, which are the testimonies from the victims, that's when it gets really crazy.
That's something that we haven't really delved into quite a bit on the show. I mean, obviously things like Epstein and these pay-to-play operations come up quite a bit. Not so much the human aspect of things, which I'm surprised we haven't gotten into more. My wife was watching a TikTok video the other day.
It's like this is a NDS bingo. My wife was watching a TikTok.
She just comes across these things, and one of them was this lady who was this wasn't a rich elite. The poor engage in this as well.
Well, I mean, I've heard of the people thing, but it was more of like performative art with like Marina Abramovich and Lady Gaga.
That's that whole spirit cooking aspect, yeah.
Okay.
But this is like, I'm talking about the world's greatest game, right? Where they release
Hunger
an individual.
Games.
Yeah, and they chase him down.
Right.
So this person on TikTok, for example, she linked up with a girl at the bar, and this girl said, "Hey, I'm going to a party. You want to come with me?" One thing leads to another. They hop in the car. Girl drives off into the darkness of the country. She's in, the boondocks, and she pulls off into the forest. And she goes, "Get out." And the girl goes, "Dude, what? We're in it's nighttime. We're in the forest."
Are you a fan of Tony Merkel's The Confessionals?
Yeah, I'm not familiar, actually.
Oh boy, yeah, great show. But it reminds me of this episode, Desert Portal.
Yeah, similar to that. You're correct. Desert portal potties.
Something like
I
that.
forget what it is, but yeah.
Have you seen Dexter's like New Blood?
No, that's the so they came
the
out
new
again,
one,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Is it any good?
Well, I won't testify whether it's good or not. It's Dexter. I mean, it's what it is. It's a murder show, which is just sick. But there is
women love that show.
Oh yeah, they love it. That's why I've seen it, because my wife. But there's a dude who was kind of richer, and he had a kid, and he told him to run, and he would shoot him in the back because he wanted to preserve her body. But this was at a large manor, and they were kind of portraying real, just like Hostel. If you remember the movie Hostel, this they go there on a European vacation, and then they get stolen. And this was because of the guy who, I forgot the name of the director, but I know Quentin Tarantino was one of the producers on that movie. But he said that he heard a rumor that people could pay $10,000 in Slovakia or Ukraine and do those, so that's why he made the movie. So it's out there, So as far as the X dossiers, there's 2 women who corroborated a story about how they stripped, after tormenting and abusing young children, they stripped down a few of them down to their shoes, told them to run, and then they laughed as they chased them with dogs and hunted them down.
Ugh.
And so when you get behind like why would they do this, that's where the core of it is. So you have the Gnostic we talked about earlier. It's funny because it directly relates to this. So there's something called the Institute, or with no E, in Belgium, of Abraxas. And if you know about Abraxas, this is the Gnostic god, feathered serpent god, right? Which you see throughout all cultures, Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, this is the chicken. It's like part. It looks like a giant chicken and a snake.
And it represents the sun, or some may say Saturn if you really but either way, the sun, which is got 360 degrees full circle, the whole deal, because geometry gets into this. Now all that matters because there's 360 windows at this castle. there's a cult of Abraxas at in this area that got raided, and they had a full refrigerator with skulls, bloody blankets, all kinds of shit get pulled out of the Institute of Abraxas, right near where these castles are and where Detroit got caught. So there's just this kind of weird network going on that have a lot of this Gnostic kind of iconography. And what I'm also getting at is that there's a room with 1,000 points of light in it. Have you ever heard that term before?
1,000 points of light? No.
You remember Bush Sr.? I imagine a world with 1,000 points of light, a new world order, where all the stars of mankind. Remember, the Freemasons talk about themselves as the stars because they're the sons of light, Isis and Hort, and Ra, rather. You know, if you get back into this old, religion. He's speaking right there, not just relating it to this same cult. And we know that the Bushes are related to the royal family. There's just this weird correlation. And I think that they're showing their face with this particular case.
This is in Belgium?
Yes.
Belgium. I'm wondering...
In between France and Germany.
In between France and Germany. That's interesting. I'm geographically retarded, but so I'm like...
Among other types.
It's like when you say Belgium, I'm like, where is Belgium on a flat... But because, there's like that obsession with kind of that area... and I know right now the chat's about to laugh at me. It was like, is that near Greenland?
Is
that near Greenland? Do you know?
Is this the same area? I've heard a story of one of the, I guess, former members of the Mothers of Darkness that would transport. I don't know how the hell she did it. She was saying that she's like transporting with frequency or sound into like places. Like I think maybe Germany or Belgium from
castles.
The United States. Yeah, castles. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that Jessie? I can never pronounce her last name because it's like CZ.
Smollett?
No. Soda Bar or something like that. Soda Bar. It's CZETOBAR or something like that. She's one of these people that famously was trafficked as a child in a very similar situation. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, I listened to her on Merkel's show talk about moving to and fro, castles being the place when she was a child, and she was not only abused but made to ritually abuse other children, and that there was some sort of travel back and forth between portals. So
that
I don't know.
Well, that's crazy. The portal shit's wild. That correlates with all the shit that I've been reading about as far as these victims, and they all talk about as they get older and age out, they're forced to do it as their kids as well, and things like that, because of the whole disassociation and programming of the mind. Our show gets really heavy on like MK Ultra, mind control, and then that kind of led us into the idea of how there's a satanic underlying foundation with the mind control, because it goes back to the mystery schools and this whole secret cult that's been around since Babylon. And it seems to be, tied in obviously with the Nephilim, or, if you want to go back that far, I think the bloodline that's why they try to keep their bloodline so secure, because they have Nephilim blood in them. And I believe that eventually with this technology, they want to probably even bring them back.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what we're dealing with. I think that who we were talking to, 7Cs called it the 6,000-year-old death cult. But that cult it's a genetic aspect. That's what is galvanizing people to this kind of dark operation. And I think that genetic component is the bloodline of the Nephilim, or specifically the bloodline of the fallen, the seed of the serpent.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think all these things are.
And they believe they're gods on earth.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
My bad.
No. You're absolutely correct.
That's the aspect of it. So believe they're gods on earth, like not extended. And that's why they hunt people, because they're just animals to them, just like the adept and profane aspect of Freemasonry. I believe that it's all the same ideology that these people work in.
It's funny though, because even though they feel like they're superior and they're willing to engage in like human beings, it reminds me a lot of like the Talmudic principles, where it's like you can't do it to the, but you can definitely do it to the goyim, right? It feels like that, honestly. Yeah. But then when you look at them, they're all, it's just funny to think like they have this air of superiority, and it's a genetic air of superiority, but they look disheveled and monstrous because they keep banging, their sisters.
Inbreeding, yeah.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. And it's funny
It's-
because we're
it's
kind of
weird.
leading into that right now. The whole takeover through technocratic state, this new digital Weimar Germany that we're kind of going through right now. And then I believe that they're trying to kind of create this rebirth, but not because they want to actually let it happen. But, they have the Canary mission and Project Esther to kind of create a list about people that are. And then I believe they're going to use Palantir to round them up. And that's what the big, beautiful bill, the $45 billion that's going towards camps. What they aren't putting illegals in these camps. They stopped even deporting these illegals. They're going to put people that have a problem with this new kind of coming of the age that's coming in. And yeah, it's going to be a Talmudic Noahide law type based system.
Yeah, we actually just covered that recently on an episode. The Noahide laws that are definitely incoming, and it's like
it's a weird one because there's a lot of what is it? It's basically like religious principles. A lot of them are like seemingly moral principles, like you can't no idolization, things of that nature. But a lot of it is like, and you're gonna get beheaded. Like that's the problem, and it's like it's been there in our legislation for like since the 90s or something like that.
I think since at least 2012, it's been hard written in the law. So
and it's like we're just not cutting anybody's heads off right now. But if we wanted to, we'd have like the backing to do that. We could totally cut your head off. Like that's crazy.
Bill Cooper, the great Bill Cooper, he said guillotines are going to be back in the streets. And I don't think he was 100% wrong, dude. I think that but I think maybe it'll be a little bit more high tech. Palantir, the kind of the point of decentralizing everything under Palantir, it just centralizes power to one thing. That's a little worrisome as well.
I would like to talk a little bit about Bill Cooper, somebody who you would think we do a conspiracy show, also a Christian show. It's a Christian show, and it's been, geez, I don't even know how many episodes now, over 200 episodes. We don't really talk about Bill Cooper. So I want to ask you something, and then hopefully we could talk about him a little bit. Do you think that that is it Bill Cooper that's supposed to be Alex Jones?
No, that's Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. See, that's how often we don't talk about him. Do you think that Bill Cooper is Alex Jones?
No. He hated Alex Jones.
He did. That's right.
As a matter of fact, it's funny. Like Tucker Carlson just conveniently forgets that Bill Cooper was the first one to predict 9/11, and then he talks about Alex Jones predicting 9/11 on his show, and I'm like, dude, you've been in the news way too long to have forgotten who really did that.
Well, he forgets a lot of things. He forgets that his father was CIA too.
Yeah, that's a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you forget things. You live a long life and you forget a lot of things. I don't know.
I caught that when I listened to that. I was like, dude, did he really just say that he found out in March? I just remember listening to him talk about it with Sean Ryan last year. Like, what the? It was crazy. I was very shocked.
Well, Sean Ryan, I think, forgets that he was a spook.
I tend to, the Fort Braggers, they got a lot of history with PSYOPs, and that's why he's centralized with the Matthew Liversberger for sure. We did an episode on
I don't trust that dude at all. Like every time somebody's like, "Did you see the new Sean Ryan show?" I'm like, can you imagine that there was a time in history where the CIA was like, "How do we propagandize the people? Like, if only it was us. Like, if we could just have like one of us do it." And then we go like, people would never just listen to a CIA agent. And then we call that propaganda, and you're like, I know, but a man can dream, can he not? And then fast forward to 2025, and people are like listening to the Sean Ryan show. I'm like, God, man, about all sorts of things, UFOs, Epstein.
Yeah, and then if you say something about like Sean Ryan, maybe being at least kind of controlled or at least having people on that are controlled opposition, people look at you like you're like, what? I can't believe you'd say that. That guy's so honest about the corruption within the military and the government. I'm like, yeah, the point is they want you to see how corrupt it is so that you'll get rid of our government. Like that's the whole point. It works from both sides. It's just
maybe
wild
that's our fault. Do you think it's the conspiracy community's fault for like calling everybody a Fed? Like we call everybody a Fed.
Well, also like not hammering on the constitutionalist aspect. Conspiracy theorists don't do that enough. They just are like, yeah, this whole thing sucks. Anarchy tends to be the thing they hammer at the most. And it's like, yeah, no, we really are the freest country until, we're taking it for granted. We're going to give it away.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy. The libertarian movement that I guess I was a little bit of a part of back way in 2016. I know, very. But when I started, because you're looking at possible solutions. So like I'm like, this kind of makes a lot of sense. But as it grows and develops and then starts to take over the main zeitgeist, like we've got guys like Dave Smith that are now talking on the public stage, and the ideology of anarchism or anarcho-capitalism is now pushed to the forefront, to the point where like even Trump had to go to the Libertarian Party convention before he was elected to kind of like talk to them. But these ideas are not necessarily good, because like they're kind of rooted in what you'd like to see, but the path there is retarded.
Because the path there is predicated on using the official channels to get things done, right? In a sort of legal way, in a political way, and it's like, well, the system is
in a way, but I mean, realistically, like what they're aiming at, what Andrew was kind of getting at is like, it's almost like they're aiming at anarchy, which means no rulers, and they mean that to the utmost sense of like no rulers, not even God. There is no God in this infrastructure that they're building in their Tower of Babel. So it's like, well, this is where it all falls apart, because besides that, like the ideology is kind of okay. Like I can say, all right, yeah, don't hurt people, don't take their stuff. And the economics are sound when we're talking about gold. They say, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. But when you take a look at the deeper roots of it, or most of the people who are involved in this, like we've had on these guys, and we've asked them, well, it's like, all right, liberty and God, where does God fall on that? And they're just like,
it's like a foreign concept.
Yeah, but you need that if you're going to rule a nation, which is kind of what you're saying that you want to do. You kind of have to have some sort of underpinning that is not necessarily some Jewish author that wrote an economics book.
Well, that's why I get upset with them, because it's we had that issue with Dave Smith, where I'm just trying to like, can we talk like what Andrew's talking about here, these bloodlines, right? This like, old death cult that's doing these horrific things to children should be an easy conversation to have.
It should be easy.
Well, no, I mean, really, given the Epstein of it all, right? I mean, like,
well, now, yeah.
And we tried to have that conversation only a year ago with Dave Smith, and it just couldn't compute, because it steps in the way. It throws a real monkey wrench into your political jargon when you have to then consider, is there like a ritual aspect to this? Is there like a spiritual belief system aspect to this? Is there a bloodline aspect to this? Well, what is that bloodline about? And
then like, why are they killing all these people in the forest?
You're touching on what I was going to say. Libertarianism is just political eugenics, because if you think about it, survival of the fittest, Darwinistic kind of ideology behind libertarianism. That is just eugenics, essentially. And so when you boil it down to its base core, and so when I say constitutionalist, I don't mean in a libertarian way. I mean in a social political way. Bill of Rights, Constitution, leave me the fuck alone. Stop trying to regulate guns. Stop trying to regulate these social, that kind of aspect of it. But when it comes to like, I don't want to sound like a Marxist, but there should be some slight regulation when it comes to the tax. There should really just be no taxes, and then you don't have to worry about the haves and have-nots with taxes. And then I feel like you could even out with the free market and capitalism, no taxes, Constitution, Bill of Rights. By the way, your God-given Bill of Rights, that's what it says in there, God-endowed rights. That's why they want to get rid of it, because then if you get rid of that, then you don't have any God-given rights. And so then God's gone, your rights are gone, and they can do what they want with you.
Yeah, I will say as well about like libertarian, it's always like the freedom to do, and you're like, the freedom to do what? And when you start asking that question,
do as thou wilt, Aleister Crowley, 100%. Yeah,
there you
go. Exactly. No, yeah, that's the non-aggression principle. It's very similar. It rhymes, and I mean, I get a lot of pushback from libertarians, and they're great arguers. They'll debate you all day and probably beat me, but the reality is like, well, yeah, what are we free to do? What exactly are we doing? And do I have to be okay with that? Like, according to libertarianism, when I lived in New York and they started doing a drag queen story hour down the block from me in the library, I'm supposed to, well, I mean, that's also a public entity, so I could be not okay with it. But if they did it in the bar or a privately owned library, then I have to say, oh, well, it's privately owned. So therefore, economically, this makes sense, and do what thou wilt. And for me, I'm like, nah, not really. Get the out of here. So this is a Christian
Well,
show.
you know,
That's
the
right.
Constitution does say, I mean, yeah, of course, but also, you know, the Constitution does say, you know, you have your right to your religion, because we did get this country was started by Freemasons, you know, for better or worse, but the principles within it, if unchanged, do work. But yeah, it just gets with so much.
I don't know. I mean,
you know.
I don't think I understand expressing your own religion, but can't we tie heavy stones around witches?
And see
Yeah,
how they
yeah.
sink.
That's it, dude. That's all. I'm
The
just
reaction,
curious, you know,
the reaction to other people, you have your right to the reaction to them doing that. Of course, that's part of it too.
Yeah.
You have your right to
I-
walk down the street as an, and I have the right to call you a skinhead when it kill you. Like it works out both ways. You know?
Yeah. Well, we're seeing that on a pretty big scale lately with all the interactions of the racial tensions. The racial tension. We're not going to get into that because it's a Christian show, but what you're talking about, Top, with this whole, you know, like Andrew said, do what thou wilt, right? It's a Crowleyan principle. You don't really see that. Like, I've seen you say that a couple of times, and I've seen you say it on like Tower Gang or something like that, and like it just doesn't register. It doesn't register. Like you're saying, hey, this political and cultural principle that you have, what about the spiritual implications of it? And it's like it's almost like, why would you even consider that? And
Yeah, it's like, well, you consider it because, like Andrew's talking about here, there are people in a German forest that are children.
Exactly.
And it's like, but it all kind of like flows downstream from that. Like your compliance in ignoring or allowing this is like what kind of makes these things on the fringes possible.
And that's where I become a little bit of like a totalitarian, right? Where it's like, it used to be, well, whatever you do in the privacy of your own home, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't care. But now we have to expand the parameters of hurting. So just like the left wants to be like words or violence, I want to be like, well, you're not really too far off. If you're in your basement and you're doing spells, maybe I'm gonna burn your house down.
Well, this is how crazy we are, Andrew. How crazy I am. I'll speak for myself. Is that like, when I lived in New York, I would look at the copper Statue of Liberty that just looms over West 4th Street, which is the capital of anal sex.
What are you conducting?
Yeah, I'm like, dog, like, is there like a metaphysical experiment happening here? Because we're dealing with like libidinal magic and sex magic, also some kind of weird copper conductor. And then I'm looking at the fallen state of what is New York City. I'm like, I gotta start.
And I think that big piece of copper is Lucifer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Lucifer. What are you doing? What are you conducting?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mithras, Lucifer, all the same. But you know what's funny about that is mainly P. Hall used to write from Freemasonic, like how they viewed things was like the macro microcosm. They literally thought that referred to even like a city or nation you live in is like it reflects what it is, you know, like the God that rules it or whatever. So it's funny you say that about New York, because I think that is kind of proof of that concept a little bit in New York for sure. What they were trying to explain within that book,
the butt sex capital of the world.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. To me, I've gotten to the point where I'm ready for. We have to address the spiritual problem that is at the root of all of this, and until that is addressed, you can't really build a political system on top of it.
I'm with you.
That's why the political system that we have is theater, but it's also rotten to the core. And it's like
It's so
maybe
theater.
you can have.
It's so theater, you know. As you say this, I'm just thinking about the fact that World War II was funded, like both sides were funded and created, like the Nazis and the Zionists, they were created. They're the same thing. And then real people died. Millions of real people, you know, in all places died across the world for this one group that's funding two sides of a thing to get a certain reaction, right? And then you're talking about the biblical and spiritual aspect. You know, you guys probably know about the Schofield Bible, right? Or like the Schofield annotation to the Bible that was not directly funded by the Rothschilds, but definitely had some donors from them. You know, I think that, you know, like Bill Cooper talked about, Israel was created to bring about Armageddon, to bring the New World Order, which would be a socialist, totalitarian government. And I think that we saw a big taste of that during COVID, because we had to believe everything we were told, like a totalitarian state. And then we were given stipends every few months and unemployment. That is socialist, totalitarian. And I think it was the test. And I can't believe that guy was so right, you know?
You know, I can't. read, so I don't really know how right Bill Cooper. Could you? I don't know. Could you give us like a?
He has a
crash?
radio
Yeah,
show.
David-
He had a radio show, and so you could listen to him if you wanted to.
Oh, shit.
He's got a mystery. He's got a mystery Babylon series. I think you guys would really love it because it talks about the dawn of man and how in the dawn of man, the first religion that was created was the worship of the sun. And then as time went, and the 2001: A Space Odyssey really breaks that movie down in that episode, and just kind of shows how this is their belief. They believe in evolution. They believe in worship of the sun. All this, no God, no creator. God becomes man because and all that. So he did a great job of showing how they evolved over time into the assassins, into the Knights Templars, into the Freemasons, and all the way to now. And then he just lays out. So whenever you take that basis of foundation that he laid, everything you're making up really it comes out. I was just
okay, well maybe
your Spencer.
Yeah, they're terrible people. I like what they say sometimes, but it's never nice. Yeah, I mean, that sounds exactly like what we've been subjected to for the I don't even know how long, but that's that's the entire system now. Where we came from mud skippers. Which makes a lot of sense. We crawled out of the water and we were once lizards, but now look at us. Now we're podcasters.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, and the whole no God thing and everything. That's definitely. It feels like we're kind of in the.
No,
throes
you were God.
Of, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
it's the best part.
But it feels like we're in the throes of. I'm not saying that we are going towards like the Battle of Armageddon at Medigo or something like that, but as far as ideologies go, it feels like we're at a real point in history where these things can't coexist for much longer. This ideology that they're trying to build our materialistic society off of, which is what Andrew just described, versus this belief in God.
Right.
It feels like it can't coexist much longer. They're both reaching a critical mass.
I just wonder how much of this is organic as far as our we kind of have this weird, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm saying we as like conspiracy people, we have like this assumption that our reaction is organic. Like they can't control the reaction. Like they haven't been pushing this divisiveness towards people to radicalize people so that way they could then control the reaction, because order out of chaos is like their motto. And I don't think that there's any amount of chaos that they aren't guiding the way it should go narrative wise or politically or socially, whatever. And so I wonder how much of our reaction, like I check my reaction to things is what I'm saying, because I wonder how much of it is contrived by and controlled by, the enemy essentially.
Yeah, I was engaging in that. I went a long time without engaging in that. I was very much like outside of the way that they would control your reactions and things like that. And then once Twitter came along and it became a place to finally voice all the that they had suppressed for as long as they had, I was there expressing all those ideas. And it was only recently where I pulled back and realized like, oh, I just stepped into doing exactly what they wanted me to do. And it was cathartic and it felt good. And it was... I played right into it. It was even justified because the gripe, the bitching and moaning that we were doing was based off of real issues. But those are the best things to get you to react to, are real things, are they not? So, I engaged in that same thing. Now I'm stepping back and I'm realizing like, I've kind of been maybe a little bit hyperbolic, but I'm like, this idea that a race war is what they want and it's one that they won't have to fight in. And so, but listen, before we go,
go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, before we go any further, we're at the 33-minute mark, so I have to shout out the Illuminati and I have to let everybody know that
oh yes, you do.
We're now going behind the paywall at patreon.com/Nephilim Desk Squad. Sign up there, stop being poor. Yeah, go ahead, grab your charger. Sign up there and stop being poor. You can even sign up for a 7-day free trial if you really want to see all the backlog content and everything cool that we have there waiting for you. Patreon.com/Nephilim Desk Squad. Otherwise, goodbye, poor people. And hello to our favorite kinds of people.
The ones that pay us.
The ones with money. The ones with money. Hi, guys. How you doing? All right. So, whatever happened to... Wasn't the circumstances of Bill Cooper's death sketchy? What happened to sweet Bill Cooper?
he predicted it. I mean, he predicted his own death to a weird point. He said that, you know, they're gonna come here in the middle of the night, try to serve a warrant, and they're gonna say I shot a cop so they could kill me, and I probably will because I'm not going out without a fight. And if you go read about how he died, that's actually verbatim what it says on Wikipedia. He shot a cop, got killed, they were serving a warrant. So that's pretty crazy on its own. The timing of his death is even crazier because after he predicted 9/11, essentially said they're going to blame something on Osama bin Laden, and don't you believe it? September 11th happens. The whole time he's talking about Bush's relations to the Obama family through oil deals and the CIA and Tim Osman, aka Osama bin Laden. And so it was just a whole crazy thing, and then he gets killed by November.
Interesting. So wait up, in 2001 he's killed? November?
Yeah, a few months after 9/11.
Dude, you know what that sounds a lot
And
like?
so
The guy
it's
who...
odd to me
Oh, I'm
because
sorry, I
it's
didn't
funny.
realize.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you were cutting off.
Well,
so
it was just
thought
odd
you
to me. I
were
brought
done
up the
talking. Go
Tucker
ahead.
Carlson. Yeah, we're on a little lag. Yeah, so I brought up the Tucker Carlson thing earlier because I feel like, you know, because Bill Cooper called Alex Jones a sensationalist and a CIA asset and all this, then he gets killed, and then you have a CIA asset saying that CIA asset is essentially Bill Cooper. I feel like Alex Jones got to be the Bill Cooper that lived. And so, you know, in a weird way, I don't trust him, you know, because of that.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't trust. I mean, I enjoy Alex Jones very much.
Me too. Me too.
He's very interesting. He's fun. I'd love to. I always say it on the show. I'd love to have a beer with Alex Jones. Talk about lizard people, interdimensional child molesters. You know, like that would all be super dope. But yeah, I don't trust that guy even a little bit. Even just off principle, you have to ask, how is a guy who's blowing a whistle to the degree that he supposedly is blowing a whistle allowed to have a media empire and not be dead?
Oh yeah, it's quite suspicious. I mean, they sue him. Like it's weird. He gets sued for a lot of money, and I don't know.
Comes back.
I don't know
Ozempic
what's
Jones.
up.
Ozempic Jones, he looks great. How dare you?
He does look
He looks
great,
fantastic.
yeah.
All right, he got vocal fat removal, and he is crushing it. He
His
looks
mouth's all
fantastic.
blue from
his
the
mouth is blue because he's doing that thing. You know that thing.
Everybody
He's
is
drinking methylene blue. Him and the Liver King are looking fantastic, and I'll not have you besmirch them on this show.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like Alex Jones, but it's just like, man,
He's
it's
fun.
like
That's I don't trust him completely. I don't trust David Icke. David Icke,
mean,
I'm a little bit more adversarial with. I'm like
Ian Carroll, another dude, like follows me on Twitter, but I'm still kind of like.
But then he's making content shirtless in a river with Alex Jones.
I just don't know, dude.
That's Schrodinger's opinion is what I both like that and greatly dislike it. Like when I see them in swim shorts in a river making content together, I go disgusting, love it. And I don't know which one I lean towards more. Yeah, I mean it reminds me though, that idea of like predicting, 9/11 and then meeting an untimely death.
Alex Clones.
There you go, Atma. Thank you. It reminds me a lot of the guy who invented the PCR test, who expresses his concerns.
Carrie Mullis.
Damn, that was great, dude.
I'm remembering
good job
today. Yeah,
that's nice. And he is expressing concerns about them using PCR tests to try to diagnose illnesses, which is not what it was intended for. It was basically this ability to find like anything in a microscopic level. If you took any sample, you would find traces of absolutely anything in it. If you looked small enough, that's my big brain word. And so he ends up dying like just before the vid pops off.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that just goes to
David
show
Icke,
you,
David Icke's the one who actually taught me that. It's funny, you said you were adversarial with him. I feel like that's the thing he was honest about, was the COVID when it was happening. That was his thing, like he was on.
I think that David Icke is honest. Yeah. I just think because he basically is like getting much of his information through channeling ascended Atlantean masters.
I mean, that's like, I don't know how much anymore.
Yeah,
but that's what he has said.
Well, that's what he said. Yeah, he said that in his own.
That's not my issue with him.
That's my issue.
No, but I know, but like, as soon as you're channeling, like the same thing with like the UFO, like, what are you channeling? We're rebranding as like aliens, and it's like, dude, it's the same entities people messed with before. How do you have the discernment to know if this is a trickster god that's with you and wants to destroy your life or not? You don't. You don't get to find that
Well-
out till it's already done. And I've
And if
kind
you
of been
look at
hammering
David
at
Icke-
that shit with the New Age people.
Look at his face. Look at David
yeah.
Icke's face.
We're doing physiognomy
I'm
now.
just saying, you look at David Icke's face, he doesn't look like he's
No,
doing
that's
too
it.
good.
This is my main issue with David Icke, and I like him. It's just like, all right, so yeah, there is the channeling thing, and then I guess the number 2 thing would be he's just like he consistently bashes like whatever he is strawmanning as Christianity, and I get it because I've strawmanned it myself, and I'm like, well, that's a little dishonest to your large audience to do. And then it's also kind of weird when you're like, all right, but you're channeling, and then there's also like a little bit of a bitterness, which I also get.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he is very bitter, and he's constantly
But
complaining.
he's rightfully so bitter.
Yeah, I know,
Like
but you
Ian
can't
Carroll
control it.
goes and does some that he's like, I did this
Well, Ian Carroll
25
stole
years
our
ago.
research, and what did we say? We said, God bless Ian
We
Carroll.
said he was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe we were
Yeah.
right. I don't know.
Might have been.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
don't know,
mean,
man.
I
you
like
know,
David.
With Ian Carroll, it's funny because he's saying all the right thing, and again, it's like the controlling the reaction to this issue, because I feel like if we just let people guide our reaction to the issue, we're gonna end up ourselves over, because I feel like they're trying to build a database on who's against it and who's got problem with it and this and that, and I feel like they're using alternative media characters to kind of push that, get people deeper into that ideology, create that sentiment. Race war, is it going to be a religious / spiritual / new age, old age war, whatever? It could be any of those, but I think that's where they're pushing towards, is this radicalization. So again, control the reaction to it, because people like Ian Carroll, I feel like that's his purpose, because he's saying all the right things, just like Sean Ryan says all the. It's a weird new age of alternative mainstream media.
Yeah, this is that. It's a. I think it's a false awakening. I think people are overlooking this situation. Everyone's like, it's the Great Awakening. All of the information and I'm like, you guys are being exposed to the fact that you've been lied to about a great deal of things.
It's weird because you're talking to pretty much 2 guys that were like in on the ground floor of noticing.
Oh yeah,
and it's like I guess it's gotten a little bit old, but it's like you realize fairly quickly that we were I say this on the show a lot, so this is another drink moment for the people. But I was on Twitter a couple of years ago, and I had said made a joke about Joe Biden sleeping, and then it was like
Mel Gibson
and he's all jacked, and I said,
looking juicy.
You could do adrenochrome, or you could hate the Jays. Which way, and then Elon boosts it. He
Insightful.
replies to it and responds like saying something about Mel Gibson, and I'm just like, what the hell happened here? Now it's like blown up.
But
and,
in hindsight, you could see exactly what happened.
yeah,
At the time, it was like,
I was like, is Elon?
And
just
now
looking
look at it. Now the Nick Fuentes is the new main guy, and that's not organic. Maybe he's
he was
organic.
a
He's probably
homosexual
naturally really a
cat
real.
boy.
He probably I've seen that, but he I feel like maybe he is an organic character that is unorganically pushed forward. Just like you're an organic character that said that, but then Elon pushes it forward, which gains it massive volumes, so that way it can uncontextually build the masses towards that belief, where they don't know that your context is like sarcastic. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, it's
Where
not even. It's not even that it
know?
has to be sarcastic. It was like what they did was they created fertile ground for the sentiment to be genuine.
Well,
They
the
created the entire situation for you to be like, yo, what is going on with these dog?
Yeah.
The sentiment
And
was genuine,
I
right?
said that as soon as Trump hit office. I was like, dude, he's doing things that are so blatant. Getting rid of all funding for everybody but Israel, taking away weapons for everybody but Israel, doing the anti-Semitism with colleges. I was like, is he doing this to tell us how much Israel has control of us? But it's even darker than that. He is doing it that way, but not as a good guy, but to help radicalize us. That's even more dark than I originally thought. I thought this guy was being a good guy undercover, but I don't think that's the case anymore. So that's
Agreed.
worrisome. That's sad.
It's very tricky, right? Because it's like, well, you kind of have to. We've gotten away from a lot of the J noticing, or I mean, it's obviously all still there, but I'm like, if everyone is doing this, do I need to talk about this anymore? Because now it's like
we tried it
since it's. What do you say?
Oh, I was just gonna say we try to do it in a way that I've been describing to you, where we point it all out, like the whole deal. But also it's like controlled reaction. Not all are Zionists, but all Zionists, say they're right. So it's like the people are the people that I'm more focused on. It's not Judaism necessarily. Yes, obviously the Talmud goes back to ancient rabbinical, but it doesn't mean it's all. And so that I try to help with it. I think they need to get out there and say, hey, I'm not with that. That's not me.
Yeah,
like that's not what
it's not all
they
Jews.
need to get out there.
I agree that the biting of the penis is problematic, but I don't think that it's for sure.
They've done a great job with them too, because they've kind of like siloed them into this area with the Holocaust narrative. So it's like that's like a generational trauma where you have people that are terrified to step out of the herd because they've been told that when they did, they were rounded up, and the whole story. And it's like, so they can't break from that, and they now they have to like adhere to this how would you call it like this group mentality.
Oh yeah, victimhood mentality.
Yeah, well, I mean,
definitely.
but they have to remain in the group. So I'm like, so what you're saying is like, for them to differentiate themselves, honestly, never going to happen because it's been so long and so much propaganda. Again, that's very. I think it's a little bit overstated, but it's been a lot of propaganda told in our history books to them, and they're like, we're not going to have that again. And I get that. But then it's like, well, where do we go from here now? Because there is a big issue. And now it's like for someone like me who was calling this out, I don't know, years and years ago, like I got doxxed originally. The reason why I use Top Lobsta is because somebody doxed me. They tried to get me fired all this years and years ago from just making like a slight joke about the Jewish stuff. And so I noticed it, but it's like now we're surrounded on all sides by people telling us that we have to push this narrative, and on the other side you have people saying you can't, but it's really all pointing at the same thing. As you're saying, it's like we have to create this sort of this tension, and I'm not sure exactly
what the right move is.
No, I don't know what the end game is. The end game is
the end game is well, like I said, I think they want to do a race war, and I think they want us to push back against the, so that when they perceive their Messiah coming back, they're going to be justified in.
That's very close too. It's like we have the red heifer. But go ahead, Andrew.
I just don't think that. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. That's what I mean by it's not all. The Zionists don't believe in Jewish Messiah coming. They believe in them becoming God and controlling the animal sheep herd of humanity. Because it's the Luciferian aspect of what we see in Zionism. That's why Jesus said that they're the synagogue of Satan and kick the money changer tables over, because they're the money changers. The people who, usury is what they get rich off of, interest, but they don't get interest for any of their loans. And we just give them all the money we get over here. I mean, they do. And what's funny is they do this weird thing where it's the opposite. It's the, what is it? They're like deflecting, right? They're really good at that. So they'll, listen, you're going to give me all this interest, payments, but I'm going to pay none. I'm a special person, and then they build this victim mentality, and they do the same thing with like DEI, to try to create tension amongst Americans through like black and white race. So I get what you mean by the race war thing, but it's perpetuated by them to, again, just radicalize people enough to build what you said, that war. And then the end game, though, is the control through the Israeli-controlled technology companies like Palantir and this new Golden Dome and what's Elon's Musk, Starlink. Those satellites are up there to run the Golden Dome that's going to watch us through the Geospatial Institute and track our movements. And then they're going to run that. That's why Dave Chappelle's space Jews joke is just like, it's so like uncannily perfect, because that is all from them. It's like he knew some.
But my thing is like, if that's what they're all gonna.
Which Dave knew?
Oh yeah,
the clone.
Yeah.
Dave
Chappelle's clone. But like, if they know, if that's their goal, it would strike me as counterproductive to have everyone notice.
Right. I can't really make
no, because they want to be killed though.
Right. So this is, I think that also might be that. So the idea, what the name of the Holocaust means, a burnt offering, and whatever the number is we want to attribute to it, that's kind of what it was. It was, they gave something, a bunch of lives, I don't know how much, and they got something. So yeah, this seems like their offering, but it's like, well, what's the next play? And it seems like the world, right? Not just
Oh yeah, if last time got him Israel, then this time gets him the world.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the real Holocaust of World War II was Japan.
I
Mm.
think the real Holocaust was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think that, I mean, the more that comes out, I think that they're letting more out about the Holocaust. They're letting more out about the fact that they had doctors, they had dentists, they had they had orchestras that would have their instruments shipped to the camp so they could play music. Like, you can look any of this up that I just said and you'll find that that's true. And then whenever you see that, like, I don't know, man, I think that, I mean, they're the ones who owned all the cotton fields. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and then they're the ones saying that all the white people are, they're the ones who own the slaves, and then they're turning around
Who owned the boats?
telling that exactly. So it's just a weird, it's a lifelong thing, or not even a lifelong, generations long thing that they've been running. So I don't see how this is gonna just, people are just noticing this time, and it's gonna change. They seem pretty good at controlling as it goes.
It's honestly, it's tragic, man. And the tragedy of it is that, like, yeah, like every time this comes up on the show, we don't shy away from it. We got to talk about this because it's obviously happening. It's obviously on the world stage, and they're moving forward at breakneck speed. But it's like there is almost nothing you can do to stop biblical prophecy. And when you point it out, it becomes this, like, whatever. They've called me every name in the book: racist, anti-Semitic, yada yada yada.
True.
But it's like, damn, man, like how am I supposed to say this thing? And then there are people that we do like in real life. It's like, well, this guy's Jewish, like we threw an event, and like a couple of the performers, like we got kicked out of an event. We got kicked out of a theater because they were like, oh, one of the guys you have performing hates, and I was like, he is.
We have several
Jews.
We have another guy.
Literally, yeah, my last name's Clinton, and I'm half Jewish, and so I'm like, I've always said I'm a walking contradiction because, like, those two things really prove it too.
They wrote an article about us, and they were like, these anti-Semites going to do this thing in this town, and I'm like, the MC of this event his name is Cashman. His name is like this. What are we hiding here? But it's like, how are we supposed to tell the truth? And it's just kind of like, it's futile. After,
I don't know, as we're talking about this, I'm realizing, like, if this really is the end goal, which is, I have a lot of belief in those ideas.
I'm trying to figure out how we got here from castles.
Well, I'm just saying, I guess because of the castles, they're gonna kill people like us.
Like you.
The Christians,
Well, like
the
you
Christians
too.
got to die first, man. After World War II, there was 40,000 Christians in Palestine. After 1946, there was 12,000. What do you think happened to all them? They weren't just killing the British people that didn't give them the land they wanted. They were killing Christians. Christians lived just fine over there before they took over Palestine. And I mean, the Christians are their enemy. Even in Freemasonry, the Christians are their enemy. But within Freemasonry is Jewish Kabbalism. So it makes sense. It's all the same.
It's funny to see, like, in America, how, like, strange it is, because this is a Christian nation, but this is not the norm at all. Like, well, number one, the level of freedom that we have here is not the norm. And the level of open Christianity that I mean, there's a church on every corner that you go to. That has not been the norm for 2,000 years, and in most places still is not. It's not really
a lot of people to have to.
So, well, how do you do it? I mean, then you throw the skies.
You'd have to use your weather weapons on us.
You'd have to use the weather weapons. You'd have to.
Well, they've done a pretty good job. They've done a pretty good job of killing God. Like, our generation isn't the most. I mean, I heard that they're going back to church in droves compared to before.
Yeah. Do you
our
do you believe
generation
that there's a resurgence happening?
I wonder if they're just saying that so people, like, think there is. I mean, I don't know. I definitely think that there's a resurgence in looking for meaning in life, because we're faced with a life that's just, I mean, they just try to make you nihilistic. They try to make you think there's no meaning, and they confuse your reality every day with things like black goo and other, like that, sounds coming out of Antarctica. There must be something under the ice. Like, they do like that always to with your reality, because then if you don't know what your reality really is, they always are guiding what it is for you. And so I think that we're so deep into that we can't understand how we got here because of that. It's because our every single story or even science study we see either disproves the last one or comes out with some new novel thing that ends up really being meaningless later because it's just
Yeah, dude,
confusion.
what did we just saw this? It was too contradicting. Oh, it was the Red Heifers article. I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
an article
Oh, yeah,
a week ago that was like none of the Red Heifers were viable. They all ended up being non-viable because of, you know, imperfections, yoked. They got yoked.
Yeah.
They were and then
Whatever that means.
they were yoked. And then all of a sudden another article comes out yesterday or something that goes,
No, it was a Tim Pool's show. He had that. I forget this guy's name.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I trust Tim Pool.
Tim
Yeah,
wasn't
dude, I
there.
trust him a lot. I think under
I
that
trust
beanie
Tim
might
Pool.
be a yarmulke.
I think it's just a big brain.
Nah, I think it's just a
under that
bald
beanie.
head, dog.
It's a
I've seen
big
it.
brain.
It's kind of gross. It probably smells. No, he had this guy Adam King is his name.
Yeah.
And Adam King is like one of these Zionists, and he came on. He had like a bag of ash, and he's like, they burned the red heifers.
Yeah,
he showed a
I
video
saw that.
of them.
I saw that.
Is that AI video?
Listen, dude. Yeah, I mean, we can get into that.
They're prepping. They're
knows?
prepping for it. Like they're doing the preparation, which is just the same thing as like the seeding the mind for what's to come. That's
Yeah.
all. you know,
Yeah.
I don't think any of that's gonna mean really. It's not gonna
That's where
like the whole
where
Go ahead.
Shane Cashman's post reality really hits hard. Like that's
Shane
where
Cashman,
we are.
yeah.
Cashman's post reality. We're in post reality. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore.
David, no cursing.
I don't know what's
it's
happening.
working then.
It's working. Man.
Pull the gun back out. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude.
So, go ahead.
You're good.
Okay.
You know what? For the audience's sake, we have a latency issue going on. It's pretty substantial.
Dude, I know. My
so
bad.
we're no, it's not your fault. I mean, well, you know, I'll blame you.
Yeah,
That's
it
fine.
definitely is, definitely is.
But yeah, we're in an era now where like it's so hard to discern what's real and what's not. Discern. Yeah, it's CERN's fault too.
Possible.
Like, you know, it even goes back to the Epstein thing, which kind of ties into what we're talking about. I don't think he had a castle, or maybe he did, but you know, when they're saying that the hallway was, you know, it showed you that there was no comings and goings, and so Epstein wasn't possibly murdered by anybody, so he did it his damn self. And it's like, well, number one, there's a missing minute from the footage, and you did that just to screw with us, because why
Yes,
else would you
dude.
ever release that? You
Yes.
think we can't look at a timestamp at the bottom of the screen? And so you laid that for us. You wanted us to see that, but also like you could AI generate an image of a hallway. So the whole thing is like,
Even the
Yep.
situation, like we were saying with the red heifers, is that it was like intentionally pushed during. I remember it was during that eclipse. We had like a solar eclipse, and then they're talking about the red heifers being perfect and transported to Israel.
so perfect.
And then you have people from the Daily Wire. I forget this girl's name. She's like one of these more prominent writers at the Daily Wire, and she's just like celebrating the red heifer thing. She's like, "Isn't this great?" And we're like, "No, that's not great. That means that you're bringing about end times." And I've got young kids who I'd like to, I'd like them to see the world a little bit before you bring about the Antichrist. And then they walk it back. It disappears from the narrative for a long time, and now it's back again.
Yeah.
And it's like, now
Who do
we
you
did
thi-
it.
Who do you think the Antichrist is? Like, do you
I
think
don't
it's
know.
the system that they're creating, or like a Trump character?
No, so this is where I'm at now. For a while, I was theorizing that it was Trump, and it wasn't because it was because of all these like strange things, like the Ingersoll Lockwood books and the episode of the Track Down series where
As he has a little Trump thing behind him.
Oh
That's
yeah,
great.
this is back there. But now I'm looking at Elon Musk, and I'm like, oh, I think that he's creating AI. And what's going to happen is we're using Crowleyan sex magic to goon to this. It is a Christian show, to this AI visage of Grok, which is an anime girl, right? And I think that he's backing up his own personality on Twitter in the form of like Adrian Dittman and things like that. And I think that Elon Musk is going to die. You can put money on this. This is a safe bet. He's going to die.
Crazy.
And then then we're going to have breathed life into artificial intelligence by gooning.
Stop
Not
it.
me. I wouldn't have gooned to it, but other people surely have gooned.
I don't think this, but go ahead.
Surely have gooned to Elon Musk's AI anime girl. And with that breath of life via Crowleyan sex magic, when he dies, Neuralink is going to upload the backlogged version of him in Adrian Dittman that is now living because we gooned, and it's going to reanimate his corpse, and he is going to come back from a mortal wound.
I love it.
I mean, it's part. I think he's part of it is like he's obviously being facetious.
Well, not really. Mostly, I suspect this is the case.
I do think. I think the Antichrist is not necessarily a person, but it's got to be like a celebrity of some type that could physically look the part, or like somebody that we already know that is very popular worldwide that could step in. But I don't think that they have that spirit just yet, because the Book of Revelation says that he suffers a mortal head wound, and then the image of this, and the image of the person, the Antichrist, whoever this was, this leader, comes forth, and then that's when the tribulation starts to happen. That's when things go down. So,
dude, I don't see how you don't see that has got to be Trump, and only because of this.
Well, this is why,
and I don't
me
think
tell
it's
you why,
one person.
Andrew.
Go ahead, yeah, please finish.
I'll tell you why. It could be Trump. It could be Elon. It could be Gavin Newsom. I don't think it's them. I think it's the image of them. And I think that they will be
okay.
Just know that there was a time before Trump ever was, attempted on, when they attempted on him, when they tried to shoot him.
Just say it then.
We just shoot him. They shot him. They didn't. They shot him. We said that was going to happen. Not that we said it, but we did several.
Not only did we say it, but we were like, it's going to happen. It's and it's fake. And then we went on tinfoil hat with Sam Tripoli.
We said he was going to survive a head wound.
Yeah,
right? That's what we said.
We said it was bullshit. People were real mad at us, and then a year later, it turns out that it is.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Like, oh, it looks like it may have been bullshit.
No, I mean, real people definitely died there. I just don't think Trump got shot by the guy on the roof.
What I mean? Hey, you are a reasonable man.
No, I mean, I try to be objective. The thing with Trump is, I don't think it's just him, but he represents what it's supposed to be, and he's ushering in the thing that it will be, which I believe is the Palantir system that takes over like the whole deal. And I say Palantir system because I just don't understand like all the mechanisms behind the whole thing. But Geospatial Institute, Starlink, I think it all links up together. These are separate entity companies that, at the end of the day, they interlink. Like, that's why I've kind of always said, like, each convenient thing we've been given is another link in the chain that's gonna hold us down.
It's gonna hang us.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's why now there's a very important component, which is Elon needs you to goon to Grok.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're looking at a guy that's gonna put the mark of the beast in your.
This is like old hat for us.
Oh yeah, I goon in that hat.
No, the Operation Stargate is
Operation Stargate, $500 billion to an unholy union of AI technology,
and vaccines. Don't forget about the customizable cancer. He just ended that $500 million. Yeah, he ended that so he can continue more AI technology under Starlink. That's all that it was a transfer.
Well, yeah, they've admitted it. They've said RFK Jr. has said it's like a headline that no one is. It said, well, we're actually getting rid of the bad vaccines. No, he's doing one
to rule them all,
autism them all, and
exactly,
I'm just like,
because it maps your genome with AI and then it customizes itself to you, and that's just outrageous, dude. That's crazy. Well, and he's selling us like the alternative media medicine, like that's just to get us into the same we would have been in, just rebranded under a different name,
Yeah.
And what I was going to say about Trump real quick, with the, you guys know about the 5th degree of Satanism and MAGA, how it's labeled.
Oh,
MAGA.
yeah. It's,
that with the wounded head and
what's her name's Marina Abramovic. She's like, oh yeah, I was chilling with some shamans and they were group dreaming as shamans do. And when they came out of their group dream, they told me that Donald Trump was the magician that was going to awaken the masses. And I said, oh, I don't like that. But then I said, okay. That's pretty much how that entire interview went. And it's like the magician, because I always look at it, people are like, oh my God. Like, if you're into some Gnostic crap or whatever, you go, wow, maybe he's like a kind of, and it's like, no, what does a magician do? He deceives. A magician is not one who actually is performing. He is a liar. He is performing tricks and feats before your eyes, and you're too dumb to see it. So, yeah, I mean, all of that points to Trump being... I mean, there was that... I was alluding to it a moment ago, but this, 1951 episode of Trackdown, which is a Western show, and in it, the premise is there's a small town and a stranger comes to town and he is warning of the end of the world. And he says that we need to, don't worry, I've got the solution for it. We're going to erect a wall around the city, and that's going to protect us from the end of the world. His name is Trump in the show, and he's a con man.
Dude,
He's
this
a
has been
deceiver.
around. This has been going on since like 1946 when he was born. You guys know about the Babylon workings, right? That went
Oh
on?
yeah,
And you know that he
yeah.
was born on the blood moon 3 months later. 3 being the, 3 for like the creative. I mean, I look at it as the Holy Trinity, but like the creative, generative time it takes. Like, and within pagan worship, to explain this better, you have the young man, and then you have the middle-aged man, and then the dead, the death, which is the sun in the morning, afternoon, and night, right? That's where the Holy Trinity comes from astrotheology's as like perspective. Well, that's exactly how long it took. 3 months after Babylon workings, you have on a blood moon eclipse, he's born. And then since then, they've been priming us ever since then.
Have you ever
where
seen
we
his
are
dad?
right now.
His dad, his head looks like a sweet potato. Donald Trump's father's head. His parents, his father looks like SpongeBob's father. You ever see SpongeBob's father where he's like a crusty old sea sponge?
Yeah,
His
terrific.
head is a nightmare. Donald Trump's father's head is a nightmare.
Nephilim.
It is. I don't know how to. It's a deform. It's all messed up. It's completely. It's horrifying. He looks like a mutant. He looks like a monster. Donald Trump's father looks like a monster.
So do you think I mean we've spoken to this guy, a couple of people that talk about satanic ritual abuse and the rituals that go into it, creating a person in a way where there's like, the ritual insemination of the woman and then spells cast over her all throughout the pregnancy, yada, yada. Are you suggesting that might have been what was going on with Donald Trump, like a sort of a created person?
Well, they called it the making of a moon child, and then he was born on the next important moon phase was when he was born. And if you are to try to manifest a certain spirit or a liking of a thing into someone, that's how you would do it. And then when you see what he does, it just, I mean, his last name's Trump, like the Trump card. Like, I don't know. It's just that everything just
His
lays
first
out
name
like it's
means,
supposed to be this way.
His first name means ruler. Like Donald means ruler of the world. World ruler is what Donald means.
John, of course, the prophet, right? And so,
and then his uncle, who gets recruited to do the whole checking out Nikola Tesla's inventions and reporting back to the FBI. All of it is very bizarre.
He brought the technology from Tesla to the Jet Propulsion's laboratory that Jack Parsons worked at. And so all this is a little weird for me he's got something. He's supposed, okay, here's how I've been saying it. He's not possibly the Antichrist, but he's supposed to be that person. He's supposed to represent it. If it's a manufactured prophecy, then that is what he is to be, right? And here's the thing though. The Messiah, as you've said, is going to be evil. So if they were to try to force their prophet to come, then that I think is kind of what they're doing right now with Trump. And so just like they're forcing the red heifer, they're forcing the third temple building, and they're forcing that.
Yeah, and they put Trump's face on the commission coin with King Cyrus, right? We actually have that little memento. Isn't that wonderful? Shout out to Matt Rife. I believe Matt Rife got us those. Thank you, Matt.
I don't know if you can see it.
You can't see it, but it's Donald Trump's face next to King Cyrus, and it's talking about erecting the temple. Different Matt Rife, not the comedian who's clearly
say Matt Rife.
Say Matt Rife. And then also, in Israel, especially like the rabbinic in Israel really celebrated him. They believed he was the Moshiach. There was a time where there was one rabbinic Jew in Israel who was dedicating, his own time and resources into trying to prove that Donald Trump was of the genetic lineage of King David. You could find that article. There was never a follow-up article. There was never a revelation as to whether or not, whatever the findings were. I imagine it's because not the case. So they were like, all right, let's not write another article. But there was a lot of
he's related to the Rothschilds. We can't let that out. Sorry,
keep that down a little bit. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, so that was one of the things. You know how they're rebranding all of the technology and they're making it cool, and they're doing it through Trump. Now it's Operation Warp Speed, and that sounds cool. I mean, not Operation Warp Speed, Operation Stargate. They did the same thing with the whole Israel thing. So it was like at the height of Twitter's noticing when everybody was super mad about Israel's disproportionate influence in our government and how America was just some sort of an attack dog for Israel. That was very much the sentiment. All of a sudden, they accused Donald Trump of like 34 different crimes, 33 of them being, I think, like non-felonious, and it was like one felony, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, this is terrible! You're falsely accusing this man." And everybody galvanizes the Trump. This is what helped him win the election again. And in that moment, it was like, damn, everybody forgot that this dude is like wearing the little hat, kissing the wall. You know, they got songs about him called Super Trump. Yeah, he's doing all of this stuff. He's a huge,
well, also, let's not forget, you just brought up something great. He was indicted on all those things, and he's saying that the Epstein files are a left-wing hoax and they're trying to drag him through the mud. Then why didn't they indict him on the Epstein when they indicted him on 35 other things? Probably because it's not a hoax from the left. It implicates the whole government probably, and everybody. I think that the Barbra Streisand effect is being used on these Epstein files, so that way when they do release them, people, they get their brains cracked open because they're so just in awe about what's going on, and the uprising probably can occur, or at least a few more pushes and we're closer, and so I think that it serves its purpose.
You think that's why we're not getting it, is because they don't think that the public is at a critical mass for giving a crap about it yet?
Yeah, they're trying to.
I can't imagine how much more of a critical mass there has to be. Like,
I think we're about there. I mean, I don't think we're far from it, or even just never divulging it in general and leaving it that way is equally as much as bad because of the betrayal aspect of it. But to your point earlier, Miriam Adelson, the one who gave him the largest donation he received, which was like twice as much as Elon Musk, she said Trump is going to save us. She said whenever he got shot that was God saving him because he's meant to protect Israel. And then he wins in office. And if Elon got everything he got for half as much as Miriam Adelson, what do you think she's getting out of all that money she put in?
Yeah, there's that guy. I think his name was Brandon something.
Well, we know what Elon got.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
kicking the ass, dude.
Not really. It looks like that.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like he got punched in the eye and kicked out. But a week after that, there's articles saying that the DoD is integrating XAI into its infrastructure, and it's like basically it's the day-to-day workload. So they're going to be using Elon's AI to, I don't know the inner workings of it, but what I do know is that when you put artificial intelligence inside of a government operation, you don't get it out easily. And it's there. It's not just there to answer some cues and do stuff like that. Like this dude is deeply embedded in the government. It doesn't make any sense why he would get that contract, right? Yeah.
He's also supposed to be getting the Golden Dome contract. I mean, I think that you're probably right in the sense that it's a fake little fight. Like I said earlier, there's separate companies, but they're really coming together as one thing. Sam Altman gets his aspect of it. Elon gets his aspect. It's really they're a part of it, but they're going to have some fake feud. So it seems like there's competition. And I think you're probably on point with that, to be honest.
There was that guy, I forgot what his name was. It was like Brandon something, and he was they're calling him a prophet. So he's a guy that's like clairvoyant. He gets these downloads from God allegedly, and he was the guy that said that there was going to be a shot taken at Donald Trump, and that it was going to hit him in the ear. He said it was going to burst his eardrum or whatever, but that didn't happen. So the specifics get a little bit iffy. But sure enough, dude does have something happen, and he goes, Donald Trump is going to take a knee. And while he's down there hiding from the bullets, he's going to be on fire for the Lord. And specifically saying like Donald Trump is going to love Jesus Christ because in that moment he's going to feel like he was saved by Jesus Christ. And it's just weird because something sort of reminiscent of that happens shortly afterwards. I think, do you know what month that attack happened? Because I want to say this guy made that call in October.
April.
It was a year ago, about a month ago.
So it would have been okay. So yeah, we could say like if it was in October, July. Okay, yeah. So, in the grand scheme of things, if he said it the previous October, that's a pretty significant, call, vision, whatever you want to call it. But I don't see Donald Trump out there championing Jesus Christ. It doesn't look like that's what's happening. And I there's, to your point.
Oh, we got that cool video. The one that was like the Rorschach test of Donald Trump saying like, he says, I'm a Christian, but then he goes, and some
No,
people,
he goes, I love the Christians. I'm not a Christian, but everybody goes, he says, I'm a Christian. And it's like, if you look at him, he does this.
yeah, it's
He
like
goes, I'm
he's
not
not.
a Christian. And people are like, no, he said I'm a
very
Christian.
MAGA sleight of hand trick.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh my
it's the
God.
same
You want to
thing.
talk
I
about
mean,
like a magician? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, George Bush did the same thing. They said, "Are you a Christian, sir?" He said, "Well, if you're asking if I've been born again, the answer is yes." And it's just reminiscent of this, this initiation shape with the skull and bones, or this, Freemasonry, whatever. Do you
If you're
think that the
asking
man?
if 100 men have jerked off on me in a coffin, then the answer
Yeah,
is
yeah.
yes.
The answer is
It's
yes.
true.
Do you
My
think-
kid,
Go ahead.
I got a 5-year-old last night, and he's asking me, I said, what's your favorite songs? He's like, I like Christian songs. And I was like, what's your favorite? And he said the Benson Boone one. I forget the name of it, you know?
Yeah, these beautiful things or whatever.
Beautiful, yeah, the beautiful things.
Beautiful dogs.
And I go, I don't know if that's a Christian song. And he says, but he says God. And I was like, which God?
Yeah, which God?
Like, cause I'm watching the guy at the Grammys in a powder blue jumpsuit do a flip.
That was a very cool flip.
And then thank God.
Yeah, I don't know,
because,
dude.
dude, the Met Gala, we did a little thing. Well, quickly, hold on, before I get into that, because I want to ask you this question. Do you think that
Sure.
the Manhattan shooter, is this damage control with the Manhattan shooter? I mean, you see the Blackstone relations where they, fronted billions of dollars to Kushner. Then you got a picture with Blackstone and Ghislaine, maybe, right when the Epstein shit's coming out. I mean, he may have, everybody thinks Clinton killed Epstein. Maybe Trump did. I mean,
The whole thing is weird because after the Manhattan shooter, very rapidly, obviously it's the 33rd floor, that's weird and all this other, but like very rapidly, old tweets surfaced of that guy being a missing person.
Yeah.
And this guy being like, I'm not going to stop tweeting about this until they bring him home.
Oh, yeah.
And he hasn't been seen.
That's
It's
crazy.
been like 7 years or something like that. And now all of a sudden he reemerges and he's a shooter at Blackstone on the 33rd floor. And you know what I do to the whole thing? I go,
Yeah.
that's what I do. I go,
it's like, it's another one of those things.
Yeah,
Like,
it's another one of those things. I agree. I do agree.
like
with
it's
that.
Luigi
too much.
Mangione. I mean, we forgot about that guy. What the hell was that about? All the symbolism there. And it's just like, on to the next thing. But what I will say about that is that there certainly are aspects of MK Ultra that go to that.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
And then they
100%.
tie, but that all ties in with Operation Stargate, which is, I know it doesn't sound like
The
it
shooter
does.
from Manhattan, the only thing that they found in his backpack was a copy of the Catcher in the Rye.
No, get out of here.
I made that up.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
it was
you
a
did.
kid.
Yeah, you made it. Oh, it's the
Shout
Turner
out William
Diaries.
Ramsey.
I'm just kidding.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. I keep likening it to like the fog of war. It seems like we're in crunch time, and they're just like you know that Alex Jones meme where he's like, it's like psyop. We're back in psyop season, full swing psyop season, and I just don't. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Our first episode was about PSYOPs, Fort Bragg, and just kind of how that seems to be like the birthplace of PSYOPs. And we just ran through all these different things that are connected to Fort Bragg. The OKC bomber, the two New Year's Eve guys this year, multiple. Anthrax, everything relates all the way back to Fort Bragg. And it's just the PSYOPs, and what got me into researching that was the voice in the machine. That it was you haven't seen it?
No, are you familiar with
Dude,
that?
this
Top,
shit's
the voice in the
fucking
machine?
crazy.
Is it an anime you're talking about,
The
or
ghost,
that's
the ghost in the machine. Yeah. My fault.
Okay,
Ghost in the
okay,
Machine.
yeah.
And so I
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
that, and I'm like, these dudes are really saying that they run the world through controlling the mind wars. And then I get deep into Michael Kino's mind war and how he was at Fort Bragg and probably trained people Vietnam era, right when he was in the military is when this all started. So I'm like, damn, so they're doing all these psyops like domestically on us. And the apparent maybe John Doe number 2 for the OKC bomber. I think they never caught him because the probable person is Terry Nichols, who went to the Philippines, and he was there with the World Trade Center bomber for like some Islamic terrorist radicalization classes and that I think was being ran by the intelligence communities so they could come back and do it. And so these Fort Braggers, I think, get recruited, nabbed up while they're there, put in special forces. They go train abroad with intelligence, radicalization, whatever. Same thing I think goes on with the Taliban. They're being radicalized by probably like because you won't find in the Quran anything about killing yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's forbidden. So I just think that they're being radicalized somewhere else, probably Intel.
I don't know. Do you think that I'm wrong?
Yes.
Well, okay, let me rephrase this. I have this feeling of dismissal, much like the hand gesture, the inappropriate. Because I realize now this is a Christian show and I shouldn't have done that, but the inappropriate hand gesture that I did only moments ago when I described my feeling about these things, I go like I see these things and I go, you want me to look at this, and I'm not going to do it. And do you think that that's wrong? Because it's the same thing. Like my son will like, you'll see him, he'll be doing something and he's trying to like get you to see what he's doing, but he doesn't have the conviction to like say out loud, express what it is that you want from me in this moment. Stop trying to get my attention by doing a thing over here and getting me to notice. And so I go, I'll not be looking at that. And that's how I treat these situations too, is I go, no, I can feel that you want me to look at this. And it's like, am I really missing an important piece of the puzzle by not looking at this? Or are these all, I know that they further political agendas and they further power, grabs and things like that. And I understand that, but otherwise it feels like I'm not going to stop it. I'm certainly not going to stop it. Even if I analyze this one and recognize the patterns in the next one emerging, I'm not going to be able to throw myself on the machinations of the machine and stop it. And so it feels as though it's a waste of my time, and I should be pursuing God.
So you're saying like, pursue God, but so are you saying like you focus on the outcomes more than the muddied up details of every
it's like
operation?
You know what it is? It's the government version, or the CIA, the intelligence community version of what my son is doing. Right. So the intelligence community is like doing things like when they go to the 33rd floor and do it in the Blackstone building. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, find his passport in the rubble. Yeah, find his passport in the rubble. What that does is like idiots don't see it. But the people who have like somewhat of a brain, that's for them. Right? So there's things that they don't have to. You don't have to. You could find a better way to find his identification than his pristine passport. You went through all that trouble to line the inside of the building with thermite. That's a hefty task. Yep. You couldn't have just done something. You couldn't have made it messed up looking, like really messed up looking, and be like, hey, we spent like a year trying to piece together. This is what we think we have. Yeah. Anything is better than look at this pristine passport. So it's like these operations are incredibly intricate, and then there's just one thing that stands out like a I don't know, I'm thinking of an analogy.
So the breadcrumbs are almost like operations within themselves that way later on as we do.
That's what I feel like.
That's what I feel like. Into this other thing that they're controlling the reaction for, like I mentioned earlier. That makes perfect sense. I think you're right.
There's something happened recently. What the hell happened recently where it was like, it was just so glaringly obvious. I don't know. Maybe it was the Manhattan shooter, and just like it has to be the 33rd floor. It has to be the Blackstone building. It has to be. All of a sudden, his tweet pops up, and this guy is a very obvious missing person for all these years. And it's like this is what I feel. Maybe this is egotistical of me. You want me to look at that?
Do better psyops. Yeah, I've been begging for better psyops for a long time.
But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point isn't to do better psyops. Maybe the point is to get us to look at it. You want me to look at it. If it's too good, it's going to go over my head, and you don't want that. You want to lower this so that I will catch it.
Well,
so that I'll look at it. And you want me to look at it? No.
It's what Andrew was talking about the spiritual nature of these the behavior of these people. It's like it's vampire stuff. They have to have you consent, and I think the consent is understand. Like it's like, well, if we use 33 all the time, if we continue to like make it obvious,
these retards are going to come over and be like,
well, then you've consented to it in their opinion, in their book, by looking at it because it's so obvious.
Yeah. And if you give your energy towards it, I feel like, that whole concept of hypersigils, you know what I mean? Where like, if you don't know what that is, like, the NFL ritual that they do for Super Bowl halftime, all those people watching it, whatever they're trying to manifest, your energy of like watching it, that kind of manifests that out. I forgot what it was. I think it was the Space Odyssey, like 1, 2, or 3. I can't remember. After they did that movie, they released all the technology that came out after that movie, almost implicating that they were manifested the technology by making the movie. And so that's kind of lays credence to what you're saying with even psychological operations. You're giving your energy and your attention to it, which kind of serves them as well, you know?
Well, the same thing with sending those bimbos to space. Katy Perry and the other bimbos, they sent them to space in that little craft, and then they had what's the guy from Amazon?
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos bust him out, and which was weird because they didn't like the way he did it, so they shut the hatch, and then he redid it again.
It's so weird.
But like, okay, if it was just regular space women, you know, like they make space women, you'd go, okay. But as soon as you put Katy Perry in there, you make people like us go, what the f- are you doing? And then as soon as we look at it, we find all the things. Like, this is like a ritual.
Yeah, it's like there's like a there's the sigil of Baphomet upside down on your stupid logo. There's
like all kinds of shit. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
are we meant to be mad at this?
why didn't you, if
Yeah.
you just use regular space bimbos, I'd have not looked at this thing, but you put Katy Perry in there and made me go,
Yeah,
what the f- are you sending Katy Perry to space for? And now I'm looking at this
Yeah.
thing and I'm finding all of your symbols and all of your ceremony in it. And now what? Now, well, it's just,
I want to talk about black
What's the
goo,
point?
Andrew,
Yeah.
because
tell us about the black goo, Andrew.
I'm so sad.
Yes. So we had a little bit of too much fun on my show talking about scientists and computer engineers who died mysteriously that were tied to this essentially like weird laboratory that probably was doing black goo experiments, which is a programmable substance that, you know, kind of like we've seen in a lot of pop culture that
Like
tends
Venom?
to, yeah, it changes you, and it can be used to, I guess, possess or whatever, right? Which I think that really that is a symbology for integrate us with technology. Black goo, graphene oxide might be part of this black goo, where, you know, it moves by itself. I think that
Yeah.
that's kind of a part of the same studies that they've been doing with the black goo. The fact that they're letting us know though that they're finding it is weird. Like, that's the part I was trying to figure out, dude. Because I'm like, why are you talking about finding this on a boat and it won't go away? Like, are you trying to, like, that's what you were just talking about, where it's like, oh, you got me looking at it, but what's it for? But it
Yeah.
is, you know, probably for, you know, I don't know, maybe to find out that it's actually used to program, you know, your body into being symbiotic with technology. And then now I just gave my attention to that and I'm consenting. So you could be right on that, dude, because I can't see another reason for that. But anyway, so we were looking at that. I mean, one guy, he died with his mouth around his exhaust pipe in his garage after showing up at the house with his mom. And another dude, oh, this one's the best. So he had a noose wrapped around his neck tied to a tree. He was in a truck that he drove off with the noose wrapped around his neck tied to a tree. And there was 3 cigars inside of the truck. And so we were kind of just like, what were they hanging out having a cigar? And then he puts a gun to his head, like tie it around the tree, drive off, and then he hangs out.
I
and
mean,
has
you would
another
never
cigar.
leave the cigars.
You know how
unless
long
you
it takes
wanted-
to, you know how long it takes to smoke 3 cigars? That guy had to
Dude,
have
it
been
takes a
chilling
long
there
ass-
for
that's
a
like 3
while.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just having fun with all that. But really what it comes down to is these are computer engineers who died mysteriously that were connected to, I believe it was a British laboratory that was probably doing some weird shit with this substance. Computer engineers mattered because it's an AI programmable substance. This is when this stuff was first being created. I have more notes on it I can get in detail about, but there's alleged like shipping containers on boats that had it, that people, you know, try to whistleblow. So there's some weird shit going on with
You know
The
who
shipping containers.
I'm highly suspicious of?
Don't put the gun. The
Ian
shipping.
Crossland.
Yeah, he's a big pusher of the
Why do
graphene
you want us
oxide.
to put this in our bodies, Ian?
Well, let
Crossland?
us.
Dude,
let-
we ain't-
I'm going to
don't
tell
do
you.
it.
There's a couple of thoughts here. So the shipping containers immediately starts to get me thinking about the New Jersey drones, because there was some speculation about like missing cargo in Jersey, and you got all these drones, and then we're talking about UFOs, which possibly. Listen, there's probably a UFO thrown in there at some point going around, but a lot of this stuff was FAA craft. They're looking for something. They're scanning. I don't think they found it because they're still out there, right?
I mean, you know,
Supposedly.
I think I
DK,
figured
they
out
say
the
in Spanish.
Yeah. I think I
And,
figured out the private company that was doing that, by the way. I'll have to
Okay, well, put a pin in that because we're going to talk about that in a
it's a
sec.
private company. You were right, dude.
Yeah, that well,
Crushing, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I know.
man, good job.
Anyway, the black goose stuff though, if will contribute to your theory a little bit more, because we just had a guest on that basically went through an encounter on psychedelics. His girlfriend exposed as a lizard person, all kinds of crazy stuff. He
big
ends
deal.
up running to the bathroom and vomiting up black goo.
Yeah.
Other people that we talk to, SRA people that work with SRA victims, people that do deliverance.
Deliverance is a big one, yeah.
Deliverance is a huge one. You're constantly hearing like when they purge themselves of this entity, demon, whatever you want to call it, it's like a black goo coming out of him. And we lost Andrew. Damn,
He's
we
like,
just
we're
you
talking
didn't
too
lose-
much about
You didn't
the-
lose me.
okay, right. He's there. Yeah, so
I'm
they'll
getting
vomit.
the name for that. Hold on. You can
Okay,
go ahead.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll vomit up this black bile, black goo, and I thought, I mean, well, honestly, it could be the same thing that he's talking about. If this like venom like substance, because that's what Spider-Man's talking about as well, right? This
Well,
like parasitic
so-
black goo venom.
Like, all right, you know how we're talking about technology and magic, right? Technology and magic. Let's put that here, and then the black goo thing. So let's say possession. Possession is a thing that historically happens, but if you have Neuralink, is it more effective?
What is the difference besides definition of how you're doing this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So these entities don't have rights over your body and over you, right? You can cast them out in the name of Jesus. But do they have rights over the technology? So let's say you have Neuralink in your head, and the demons are in the Neuralink, and they're like, you can't cast me out. And that's why
You've
they're
given
like,
your
they will wish for
consent
death
as
or they
soon as
can't
you
get
do
death.
that. Yes, exactly.
Well-
I've been trying to say that too. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
Well, let's just say, like,
No, let the guest cook,
well,
David.
let's
But
just finish
where's
this
my
point.
gun?
Where's my gun? You don't have a gun. All right, so the black goo is one thing, but what if you could make a souped up version of the black goo that is made of nano machines?
The thing is, you'd want to do it the same way that it exists. Like when we emulate something that exists in nature, we want to emulate it as close to possible.
Right, so you could do that.
As
You
a matter
could-
of fact, I was just looking at that's pretty dope. Jesus in the corner. I was looking at a robot hand, and they're basically, it's doing things.
Oh yeah, they put it on the screen, and it was like,
Yeah, it's like Mr. Steal Your Girl. But it's doing this stuff, and you could see as its hands is moving, you see the muscles are in the forearm portion of where it would be, because the hand is designed perfect.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great design,
it's a
and
beautiful
but it's
hand.
controlled by the muscles here. So as would a robot hand be, and that's exactly what you'd want to do with what a black goo substance is. Like, well, we're vomiting out this black goo that possible like entities were in. How do we formulate that
Let's
and then
recreate
replicate
a
it?
programmable one.
That's what I'm
Exactly. And
saying.
dude, to your point, my biggest like theory that I haven't heard anybody really say, but I bet you guys agree with it, is Gnostics believe that we are in a prison planet that we can't get out of, and that we have to ascend and get enlightened. Obviously, the Creator, we've been saved by Jesus Christ, if you believe in that, or at least that there is some kind of pathway that has been laid out for us to do that, whether it's His, and all that. But if you don't believe that, and you think we're in a prison planet, they're using that to literally do that to humanity. They're going to create that prison planet whenever they plug us into it, and then we won't be able to get out of this material realm. We're going to be forever recycled in the Matrix, or whatever you want to call it, out of their own Gnostic ideology. They're going to create exactly what they're scared that we're in. The micro macro works that way, dude. That's how I think. That's what
Dude,
I think the
that
end game is.
That's a great idea. Is that literally what they would create as the solution to escape this perceived pleasant prison?
Isn't that like
we would go into it.
a manly P hole sort of thing, where it's like you've presented this problem and then we'll also present the solution?
Oh no, that's like a Hegelian dialectic thing.
Okay.
Problem reaction
But
solution. Yeah.
that's a wild. What is this, like problem reaction solution? Big problem.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
that's why
huge-
you see all of this Gnostic kind of, culty, satanic, rituals being done. People trying to tune their brain into this frequency so they can connect with entities and learn how to make this technology that happens to be made of circuit boards with sigils that conduct. By the way, this is where it gets real deep. Fire is the most highest element. They hold it in the highest regard in this tradition. But electricity would be the enlightened version of fire. So if you look at it as alchemy, fire's the lead, electricity would be the gold. So electricity is being conducted through this technology with the sigils and all that in the circuit boards. I think that we're looking at it in this hardwired version. Sam Tripoli's right, dude. They hardwire mysticism. 100%.
Well, that's how it used to be. Before it was electricity, they would use candles and they would make a circle of
Exactly.
flames and like that. Yeah.
in certain
Well, I mean-
lines that go to each other, and it would connect with their little crystal stones and now they just use metals, and it's the same, man. It's just rebranded.
This motherfucker's cooking.
This guy's good. That's what I'm saying. Let him cook before I can't find my guns.
We
not
talk
here,
about
but-
what they we talk about what they want on my show, dude.
6G agenda. Shout out,
guys.
Yeah, dude. Jerry Marzinski again. Everybody drink. This is what he talks about. His one experience where he's in his office speaking to one of the patients, and there's an electrical static crackling sound. He compares it to like a welding torch, just
Yeah.
it's moving along the back, jumps into the garbage bin next to him, and the guy explains to him like those. He's like, "What the hell was that noise?" And later on, the guy tells him like those were the voices of the entities that talked to me, and they were telling him to basically stab Jerry, which he didn't, thank God, so he could be on our podcast. But yeah, dude, they exist in this electromagnetic realm, or this underneath realm, which is probably the internet or artificial intelligence, which is the same thing.
It's the manifested like version of whatever they operate in. We're manifesting it in this material realm so they could then manifest themselves here probably in an easier way, because otherwise, like, and that's probably why they, create children. You got the gateway program, and that's why people are doing all this with that.
Have you
because
been
they want
watching
to
the
create-
show? You've been
Hey,
watching the show, Andrew.
I've seen a little bit of your. I love your guys. I
Interesting.
love your guys. I heard you whenever you came on Tinfoil Hat. I think you guys killed like maybe it was like less than a year ago or something. But yeah, dude. Actually, this was like to me this was like the biggest. I was trying to get on your shit pretty. I was very excited to get on here because I like your guys a lot.
That's very
So,
nice.
yeah.
But we like you,
Very
Andrew.
excited.
No homo.
Yeah.
Right on,
Oh,
man. Hey,
a
man,
little
it's
bit
all
homo.
good.
He's
Yeah.
got good hair.
Hey, right
Very
on, dude.
handsome dude.
Well,
So-
okay, go ahead.
No, continue, because he was cooking again. And I cut him off.
Oh,
You're
the part
talking
where he
about
was saying how-
children.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah, I mean, are they trying to create like, I mean, again, with the Zorro Ranch and Epstein and what they were doing there, like, does that lead into this weird, the telepathy tapes and all that? Is that the same kind of thing being done in two different places, but the same kind of scenario? I mean, what was Epstein's, he was trying to create, was it, I
The
just wonder
Eggman.
what it was. Does it really come down to just like they had to be related to him, or was he trying to, traumatize, disassociate, program these things where you can open up people's minds to be then, given away to this, whatever it is.
Imagine he was doing that to all those kids that he was siring. It's just an army of broken Epstein children that are all disassociating, that are all programmed, that are
Yeah.
all
They're like his
Manchurian
minions.
candidates,
Yeah,
that
they're
all
like
had
little
egg-shaped
minions.
penises.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, and that is with the telepathy tapes idea, with the agenda, it's exactly what they've been doing. And then you look into SRA, and after all those ceremonies are performed on the pregnant woman and even at birth, it's the work's not done. They have to create the dissociative state in the child with like just long-term abuse, and it's like, well, then you got to ask yourself, you got to back up again and say, well, why are these the same things?
Yeah.
And what is the outcome here? What is the goal?
Well, there is some aspect of the disassociation where, like, the idea is you fracture the mind and you do it to a degree where, like, the original personality fades to the back and something else comes forward. A lot of people will call that possession or something like that. But it's like, what if you could, I don't know if this is what they're doing, program that second personality that's coming forward preemptively?
Well,
meaning,
Randy-
like,
Oh, that's
summon something
exactly. Yeah,
into them.
that's how I've always looked at it. Is that they're creating a programmable split, like person.
Right,
within
but
one
that's the idea,
person.
is like, instead of programming it, what if you're summoning it instead? It's already pre-baked. You're summoning in the
Right.
moon child or something
Dude,
into somebody.
it's the same. Well, I mean, Randy Goodwin, when we had him on, he's an SRA deliverance minister. He said something that kind of slipped by us. He was like, when he helps to deliver a person from these bondages, and he only works with SRA victims, after this process, and they are cleansed or they're like ready to move on with their life, where they've gotten to an adequate point where it's no longer needed to continue to purge whatever is put in them. The people who did it to them, he says that they retrieve and then they're good. And I was like, what do you mean retrieve? And he's like, well, whatever was in this person, they want it back. And when they get it back, because I was asking him like about the dangers of this. I'm like, you're dealing in a dangerous territory, whereas like if you programmed Andrew for a number of years and then I come along and I deprogram Andrew, you're gonna be pissed at me, right? And he's like, nah. It's like they got whatever IP, whatever property that they had on Andrew, they retrieve it, and then they move on. And he's like, as long as you don't continue to like poke at them, they just accept it as like acceptable loss. Like because that happens, I guess they just lose people. And I was like, but then we just kind of like moved on. They're like, all right, anyway. But like the idea of this program, yeah, right. The programmable thing, just being taken back by these satanic forces or whatever you'd like to call them. Like, okay, I don't even know what to ask about that now.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
right.
Man.
Yeah, I wonder
crazy.
what's forcing a person into it. So is it an entity talking people into doing it, or are people just around with shit they shouldn't, and then they just it's kind of like hurt people, or like misery loves company, like they just keep spreading it. I don't know where this, like, where's the original vampire? Where's Dracula at? Like, is it like, does it spread from one thing out, or like, is there an entity that fucks with everybody? I don't understand, like, what's the driving force behind it, if it was what you just said, which is essentially like a piece of that entity gets stuck in you and then they just want it back. Well, that's crazy.
I think
then who's initiating aren't the entities initiating us into coming there, or is it we just want to fuck around where we should?
I mean, I think it's definitely the entities that are doing it. I think they have an uphill battle if there's not a progressive lineage of individuals who can pass on traditions and ceremonies. If that gets broken, that's a huge problem for them. I think they always can get back in, but it's like what it takes for them to operate within you to the degree that they need to in order to, like, let's say embody a what would you call it? An avatar.
Okay.
To embody an avatar, whatever, while they're here is it requires consent, but it requires like educated consent, because that consenting individual has to pull off a ceremony and shit like that. So it needs to be like, a whispering and a nudging to the point where you acknowledge that that's happening to you. And then you have to then decide to engage with it in a consenting and willing way, instead of being freaked out and casting it out. It helps so much more if there is a long lineage, an ancestry, a genealogy of people who aren't, let's say, having their door kicked in and a stake driven through their chest by angry townfolk or some crap like that. Like, seriously, that has to have happened, historically speaking, to these families.
Well, I think this is, to bring it back in, I think this is the problem with the Jewish people. Is that this, again, is going to delve into like wild anti-Semitism, but it's true. A lot of people say that they're not the Bible. I disagree. They have the same exact characteristics. They're consistently like they're the people that God chose to bring into this land. But all throughout the Bible, it's just them choosing these lowercase g gods over God, the one who brought them through the desert, that took them out of Egypt.
Exactly right.
And they've developed such a relationship with these lowercase g gods that they probably have some sort of like bloodline lineage with them. And you start getting into the idea of Nephilim and like interbreeding and
well, hear me out,
genetic
they're to the point where like that's not working anymore, because these are all, and I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic or funny, there's a real issue with the inbreeding. These people are messed up. They don't have access. Maybe at some level there's some like super sharp
King
individuals.
Charles, you seen his fingers? They're
but I mean, Peter Thiel and them are finding the answers for that. They're young people's blood in their body. They're trying to figure it out.
Not only
they're going to figure it out.
It's not just now. They don't need now. The game is really dire, because where the flesh is failing them and the families are falling apart, technology is taking its place, and they can interface with technology almost as well, maybe better than they could with, decrepit incestual families who just maintain some genetic lineage relevancy to their bloodline. They have the ability to get it done.
Well, this is like,
if you get an animated body that is sustained by Neuralink, that its brain can be reanimated even after death, that it can send all the signals it needs to the heart, that nanobots can enter the body and reconstitute it. That's a lot more ideal for these things, instead of them dealing with these soft, fleshy morons who make mistakes and then the townsfolk come and kill them.
Yeah, like they can be cast out. Can you cast it out of somebody who is like, Neuralinked up? I don't think you can, man. I think that's like a physical process, and good luck getting next to that guy.
That's what I said earlier. Yeah, that's what I said earlier, dude. That's whenever you've entered the prison planet, the Matrix, the place where you don't get out of, and that's it. the Order of the Nine Angles has like some relations to this like accelerationism and cybernetics research institute and all that. I think all this traces right together. But what the Order of the Nine Angles does, which by the way, Order of the Nine Angles, nine angels, like Gnostic, right there. But they
Also the
tried
number
to
9.
bring, yeah, no, exactly.
The
And they tried to
yeah.
bring the cause, they try to bring into the causal realm, they call it, by killing and culling. And they do it in a certain way, which I believe from research with like William Ramsey and people like that, the smiley face killers is where you would find some indication of what the O9A has been up to. And so they'll go and they have to successfully kill somebody, but make it look like an accident that was their own fault, like a drunk young man that goes out, drinks, then falls in the river and dies. But it turns out, if you really look at his body, that he had been alive for weeks, maybe tortured, then put in the river and killed. So what was going on during that time was they were trying to bring in forces from the acausal into the causal realm with a sacrificial entity. And the accelerationism aspect of it is the next younger person that thinks about going out and drinking may think twice because they believe that they're fixing humanity by doing that. Because, oh, we'll just, it's almost like a negative eugenics. We'll just the people that are making stupid decisions so everybody else thinks twice before they make that dumb decision. And so in their way of thinking that they're above people, they're just like, it's the same, it's all the same. But yeah,
As above, so below. Yeah, it really is. It's like the fractal nature of our reality. It's again, it goes into like the Gnostic idea, but I don't think that they're wrong about a lot of things. I just think that they're
I agree with that too.
Yeah, they understand it probably better than Christians. I think Christians should try to understand this stuff a little bit more, but don't necessarily delve into it, into the alchemy of it all. Just understand that it is.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate lie too, is that like Gnosticism probably is right in a lot of ways, as far as you probably do have to do work within yourself, relieve yourself of your primal nature, like lust, greed, envy, all those things that they talk about in the Bible. That part's probably true. And we probably do have to get recycled, have to keep choosing to come back here or whatever before we get to go where we ultimately came from. But the belief in that, to the extent that we think we're stuck here and then don't want to do the work to get out of here that Jesus came here to teach us, and then instead our answer is let's just make this technology so we can live here forever, it's a crazy, like, they probably are right about a lot of you know what I mean? Like, that's the weird conundrum with that, where these guys' beliefs probably aren't 100% wrong, but their answers to their beliefs are pretty up.
It's libertarianism. It's like, I really like the ideas of what you guys are saying. The pathway there is, I mean, some of it's okay, but you're missing a very key component to the success of your operation here. And I think it's God. And I think it's evident in their fruits. Like when you look at what they've, the candidate of their party is some dude with a VP cop is like, yep, that's what you got, man. That's where this leads you.
Yeah. I feel like, in Mother Horse Eyes, which I know we're going to reference every single episode now. But
we got to just do the breakdown of Mother Horse Eyes.
We really do. A lot of people seem to have wanted it, but where they're all plugged into like that VR situation, and it's like they're all just gooning and they're all just engaging in desires of the flesh.
As one would
goon in the VR realm. It's like that's the great Gnostic release, is this man-made realm where everything is perfect. Meanwhile, your flesh is your God, and your flesh is rotting on the outside.
Again, it's the original. It's the first lie, right? So it's like,
yes, God. Exactly. That's why it's important.
That's how it goes. Listen, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and we're gonna bring the show into a landing here. But I do have to ask you one last question.
My ears hurt.
I know we've been
not
in the chair
like the
for
sound, but like
5 hours.
Yeah, when you wear these headphones for a long time. Like my ears are literally, they were sore even putting these on. When I put them on today, I said, ugh.
Yeah.
like a.
But before we go, Andrew, I'd like to pose to you one last question. Are you having fun?
Yeah, dude, I love this. Yeah, I love this. It's a passion project for sure. I don't even care if it goes towards like making money, really. I definitely want to, obviously opportunities to talk to people like you guys is, the goal, and talk to people like-minded individuals about this that's going on, and pursue my my learning journey that I'd be doing this every day, annoying my wife every day with this if I wasn't doing it on here. So might as well, put it out there for people that may want to hear it. So yeah, no, I love it. It's fun. And yeah, we're going to keep
Hell yeah,
grinding it
man.
out and improving. Thank you.
I like it. I like to see a dude that's like, you're fresh in it. Don't burn out, and keep doing what you're doing. He already knows more than we do.
Oh yeah. Well, we've set a low bar, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, dude,
No,
don't
you
burn
guys
out.
are- you guys are great.
We'll end up seeing you again. You got to figure out the StreamYard thing because that
Hey, I got it.
sucks.
I'm
Maybe
getting a
that's our
new.
fault.
I think it's my laptop. I'm gonna get a new laptop. But dude, every time I do Zoom, I have no problem. But they track every time I log in, so I need to get a new laptop.
Everybody else does
StreamYard.
Zoom. It's our fault, really. We're like, yeah, I want to do StreamYard because it really every single time we log into it decides to put up a fight. It's very difficult. There's a lot of tech issues, and so we continue to use it. One more time,
alright.
Andrew.
You guys are in
Where
person.
can everybody
Oh,
find
yeah,
your
my bad.
work? Where can everybody find 6G? What is it? It's 6G Agenda.
6G Agenda. We are on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. We're opening up Patreon here soon. We got we have subscribers on Spotify now, so that'd be fun. But yeah, so we're kind of slowly working into that. You can find us there, and in our descriptions for our episodes, you'll find any way of contacting us directly if you'd like to. So definitely check us out. We got lots of all kinds of different topics. Work in progress. Keep that in mind. We're starting out. So, but yeah, I hope you all enjoy it and check it out. Thank you for having me on. It's a great time.
Thanks
Hell
for
yeah,
coming
man.
on. It was a
You
great
crushed,
conversation.
dude.
Yeah, you crushed.
All right, guys. It's
Hey,
been the
thank you,
end
man.
of quite a long work day. So, as always, don't forget to obey, submit, and comply.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
You can persuade them that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see. You can't. Because they'll laugh in the face of an explanation that portrays the bigger picture.